Hello, and welcome to Cooking in the Kitchen with Growing Home. My name is LaQuandra, and today we will be making garlic and ginger bok choy. So this bok choy, of course, is from our farm, out of our learning garden today. And we just have a few ingredients. It'll be soy sauce, some minced garlic, minced ginger, olive oil, cornstarch, sesame seeds. So this is a really simple recipe. It should take hopefully no more than about 20 minutes to make at home. And it also depends if you are using fresh garlic or fresh ginger, because that'll take a little bit more time to actually press it out and to grate and peel the ginger itself. So today I'm actually using jarred versions of both. And we're gonna get started. So first we have to heat up our heating pan. We're gonna add a few of our ingredients, but I'm gonna start with slicing our bok choy first. So you're gonna leave it kind of whole, and we're just gonna slice this lengthwise the long way and try to keep as much of it intact as possible, but if it falls apart, it's still fine. Even if you wanna just chop it all up, you can do that as well. So I'm going to attempt to actually slice it and leave it intact. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna remove the bottom portion, like the little stalk or the little root portion, cut that right off. Okay. I'm gonna attempt to slice it in some sort of even pieces, not too thick. And because the bok choy has so many grooves inside of it, I pre-washed this ahead of time, but I can see that a lot of it still has some soil on the inside, so I'm actually going to rinse this again. And of course I'm gonna re-rinse this again in cold water. And if your leaves fall apart on you, that is totally okay as well. So once we get everything rinsed, just recheck in for cleanliness. Some of your pieces should look like this because we tried to leave it as whole as possible. And we're probably gonna lie these in the pan first and start steaming those larger, thicker portions that are still connected first. Yeah, these are a lot of my leaves left. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my saucepan going together. So it also says that you should add your garlic, your olive oil, and your ginger inside of the pan and get that nice and hot. Let me get that going. So you need a teaspoon of ginger. I may just add a little bit more though, because I kind of like the flavor that ginger gives off. So you know I'm always breaking all of the measurement rules. And it's totally up to you. Each recipe that we make, you can season to taste. So I'm always using crushed red pepper and things like that. So whatever, pretty much like I always said, rocks your palate, or whatever seasonings that you feel that you are familiar with and that you like, you can add those in as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get our 2 teaspoons of our sesame oil going. There's our second one. And again, once it starts to cook, and depending on how much bok choy you're actually going to use in your recipe, you may need to just add an additional teaspoon of the sesame oil and things like that, depending on how high or how low your heat is going and how fast everything evaporates. I'm gonna put my ginger, which it calls for 1 teaspoon. Let me measure that right on now. And it says 2 garlic cloves. So I'm going to really just use 1 teaspoon of it because I don't have the actual clove itself. And It's already starting to triangle in there. And you want to make sure that we are watching and stirring our ginger and our garlic because you don't want it to burn. So you just want the flavors and the seasonings to kind of marry in together. So once that heats up for a couple of minutes, we just want to make sure that it doesn't burn. I'm going to actually turn the heat down just a tad bit. Then we're going to measure out our soy sauce, which it calls for 2 tablespoons as well. And it's already starting to pop. Once we've added those ingredients, I'm going to give it a quick stir. Because again, we don't want our garlic or our ginger to stick to the bottom of our pan or start to scorch or burn. So we've already pre-measured our water. So we're basically going to just take our bok choy and kind of just lie it inside or on top of everything that we put all of the seasonings inside already. I'm going to lie our pieces that actually has the whole bottom portion still intact. We're going to add those in first. And then we're going to add our additional leaves that we already chopped as well. And once you get them all in, you can add your water. But of course, we'll toss and turn this around in our skillet or in our saucepan to make sure that everything gets coated with all of the seasonings that we have inside. So I have my 4th cup of water. I'm going to go ahead and add that inside. Use my trusty tongs here. I'm just going to let this simmer. So I'm going to turn mine down a little bit lower just because I don't want anything to start sticking. So you know your pots at home. So if you have a non-stick, you should be fine. But sometimes this heat doesn't spread out evenly on the bottom of the skillet, so it causes the middle to burn. So I just have to make sure that I'm actually constantly checking it. And once your bok choy gets tender, or tender enough to your taste, because again, some people like very, very crunchy vegetables. Some people just like a little blanch, just a tiny bit of heat on them. And then others may like theirs a bit softer. So with this recipe, it says about 5 minutes. But since I don't have a cover, it may take a little bit longer because it takes the stock a little bit longer to get tender. And like I said, this is a really, really simple recipe, and especially if you have everything prepped already ahead of time, you just put all your ingredients inside and put a cover on it, walk away. Woo. Hot. Like I said, more ginger and more garlic. Right now the flavors are really, really mild. So I'm going to go ahead and add another tablespoon of garlic and maybe 2 teaspoons of ginger and just stir that in. And in addition to this, once it finishes sauteing down, you just garnish it with your sesame seeds. And you're actually ready to plate and serve. So thank you all for tuning in this week with Cooking in the Kitchen with Growing Home. And I am LaQuandra, and we have made garlic and ginger bok choy. I hope you enjoy. Bye.